Okay, part 3, time for where we left off in chapter 1 of this amazing book called Uncovering Celtic Mythology. And yeah, let's go to that part. We're going to read about the druids under the flood, which we just covered, and the last one. Okay, the druids were... hold on. The druids were widely revealed over Celtic lands. Black. Even by kings and lawmakers. They would officiate over ceremonies and rituals. They were known to have the final say in lawful judgment and rulings, and even spoke before the king in the opening of ceremonies. This is impressive given the importance of the king as the connection to the divine. When a ceremony was begun, absolutely nobody was to speak before the king, but the king would not speak until the druids spoke to open the ceremony. Druids were truly the upper class in ancient Celtic society. Okay. They were not only the spiritual leaders of the society, but often served as mediator and judge. They were the scholars who kept the knowledge of all things spiritual and moral. If a decision could not be made, or an agreement could not be reached, it was brought before a druid to be resolved. Whatever choice the druid made was considered to be the most wise and moral, and crucial, not to be questioned or overturned, even by the king. Religion. This is now what we're reading right here. Religion. Despite the many invasions of the Gauls and the Celts, nobody had ever successfully conquered them. This allowed for their religion and practices to continue to flourish in areas such as Ireland. In many areas, instead of Christianity completely taking over the way it had in other areas, some Celtic tribes chose to incorporate the Christian ways into the Celtic religion. This resulted in some odd takes on the history and mythology. For example, when reading the Book of Invasions, which makes up much of the mythological cycles of Celtic myth, we find that Christian stories of Noah and the Great Flood and the Book of Genesis find themselves incorporated into the work. Many of Genesis find themselves incorporated in the work. Many of the stories and legends that we have now are influenced by Christianity. So each story of the mythology should be taken with a grain of salt, as many of them were altered or lost over time. Festivals. Okay. Like many other pagan traditions, the Celtic people celebrated 8 festivals each year. Half of these festivals were related to the change of the seasons, called fire festivals, because of the bonfires lit to celebrate them, while the other half marked the halfway points between the seasons via the two solstices. And equinoxes. Celtic traditions were heavily based around livestock and agriculture. Okay. Fire festivals.
What?
Oh, I'm reading
out
of the book.
Your voice. I couldn't hear what you were saying. I thought you might be hurt.
No, I'm reading out.
Sorry, I came in to check on you.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Fire festivals. Fire festivals marked the changing of the seasons. Ancient Celts recognized the year being divided into two main parts: Beltane, the time of light, and Samhain, the time of darkness. The two quarterly festivals mark the halfway points between the two. Okay. Embolic February 1. Embolic marks the arrival of spring. It is celebrated as a time of fertility, with the seed of the rising sun being sown. The ancient traditions celebrated the goddess Brigitte on this day, as she was a symbol of health, protection, and fertility. To them, all things they would hope to see in the coming season. Beltane, May 1st. Beltane celebrates the success of the coming sun and the days growing longer. With the summer, the youth would celebrate the day by jumping through fires for good luck and celebrate the fertility of the year as harvests grew. Fire was important for celebrating the day, representing the burning sun that had finally returned to the people. I think this is how you pronounce it, right, you guys? So, hold on. Logsna? Okay, this is the last of it. Logsna, August 1. Logsna marks the beginning of the harvest season. The day was celebrated through sport and craft. It was also a time of love. Many people would be joined in engagement and hand-fasting ceremonies, where lovers would be united in marriage or prepare for a year and a day. Engaged observers feasted and celebrated, some making it a day of travel and spiritual pilgrimage. Samhain, October 31st and November 1st. Samhain welcomes the dark days of the year where the light fades and the weather becomes brisk and harsh. The ancient Celts would light two bonfires, herding their cattle between the fires as a way to bless them before slaughtering the animals, later casting their bones into the fires. It was said that the veil between the mortal and fiery realms would thin on this day, so that even the dead could walk the earth with mortals. And then later I will read to you guys solstices and equinoxes. But this is all I have for now. Bye!